She didn't fall for him because he dropped some smooth, perfectly rehearsed line. She attached because for one quiet, unscripted moment, her nervous system finally let out a breath it had been holding for years. In his presence, the relentless background noise in her mind just stopped. She felt completely undeniably safe without the exhausting pressure to explain her choices, perform for his approval, or put up the emotional shield to defend who she was. For the first time in a long time, she didn't have to be anything, she just got to exist. That subtle, almost invisible shift from high alert to total peace is the exact second her heart anchored itself to him, even if she couldn't put it into words just yet. Most men walk right past this moment without ever noticing it happened. They've been fed a lie their entire lives. They think winning a woman over is a high-stakes game played strictly through sharp looks, high status, flawless confidence, or high-octane chemistry. And sure, those flashy traits definitely work to grab her attention. They light up her curiosity and get your foot in the door. But here is the critical distinction so many guys overlook. Getting her attention is not the same thing as building a true, lasting attachment. Attraction is just a mental game. It's a quick spark that lives entirely in her head. Deep, unbreakable, emotional bonding, on the other hand, is a physical experience. It happens deep inside her body, firing off through her nervous system, long before her conscious brain even has time to process what's going on. It's an instinctual somatic reaction to how you make her environment feel. This is precisely why you see so many confused men wondering where things went wrong. A woman can laugh at all your best jokes, text you back within seconds every single day, and genuinely think you look incredible. Yet, despite all of that surface-level enthusiasm, she can remain completely detached from you on a deeper level. Why does this happen? Because excitement only creates temporary stimulation, but safety and safety alone creates genuine attachment. Stimulation is fun, fast, and fleeting. It's a roller coaster ride that eventually ends. But safety creates a home, a sanctuary where her guard comes down completely. Until her body recognizes that you are a safe place to land, she will always keep one foot out the door, no matter how great you look on paper. From the time they are young girls, women are socially and psychologically conditioned to constantly read the room. They are raised to be hyper-aware of their emotional environment, acting almost like a human radar for interpersonal energy. They pick up on the micro shifts that most men completely miss. A slight tightening in your jaw, a sudden change in the tone of your voice, or a brief flash of irritation in your eyes. This isn't magic or intuition. It's an ingrained survival mechanism. Through thousands of quiet observations over a lifetime, women instinctively learn to catalog human behavior. They instantly sense who is grounded and stable, who is needy and demanding, and who is ultimately going to become an exhausting emotional liability down the road. Because of this constant awareness, the moment a woman enters your orbit, a silent program runs in the background of her mind. She is actively scanning you for hidden pressure. She isn't listening to what you say about yourself. She is watching how you react to the environment around you. Her mind is continuously asking heavy, unspoken questions. Can this man actually handle discomfort without breaking? Does he resort to passive aggression or cold silence the moment he feels uncertain or insecure? If he has a bad day, am I going to have to manage his mood and walk on eggshells to keep the peace? Every interaction is a data point for her, revealing whether you are a pillar of stability or a ticking clock of emotional demands. It is crucial to understand that she isn't doing this to be manipulative, hypercritical, or overly complicated. She is simply evaluating emotional risk. Women are fully aware of how much energy it takes to manage someone else's instability, so they screen for it early. This is why women never truly attach to your external traits first. Your job, your height, your style, and your charisma might get you through the front door, but they will never earn you a place in her heart. She attaches to the emotional atmosphere you create around her. If your presence feels like an endless test where she has to perform, agree, or manage your ego, she will stay on guard no matter how impressive you are on paper. When you look at how connection builds, there is a massive divide between simple attraction and deep emotional bonding. Attraction feeds on excitement, unpredictability, and subtle pressure. It spikes her adrenaline, flashes hot and cold, and leaves her feeling uncertain about where she stands. While that roller coaster feeling can be addictive in the short term, it forces her to keep her emotional defenses locked tight because the terrain feels unstable. Bonding, on the other hand, is built entirely on safety and rock-solid consistency. It doesn't rely on flashy tricks or constant high energy. Instead, it offers a quiet emotional peace that tells her body it can finally stop scanning for danger. When she realizes your atmosphere remains steady regardless of the circumstances, her self-protection melts away and real lasting attachment takes root. This is the exact moment where 90% of men accidentally sabotage a growing connection and blow up their chances without even realizing it. It happens so fast and usually right when things were going great. When a woman suddenly takes a tiny step back, slows down her replies, or gets a little quiet, most men instantly assume the worst. But here is the secret. A slight pullback rarely means she has lost interest in you. More often than not, she is simply stepping into observation mode. She is watching your consistency in real time. She wants to see what happens to your demeanor when the easy validation stops flowing. Does your core stay solid, or does your behavior completely flip the second you aren't getting guaranteed positive feedback? The moment that uncomfortable cloud of uncertainty hits, the vast majority of men fall right into panic mode and start performing. Instead of remaining grounded, they double down on effort out of fear. They start texting faster, blowing up her phone, frantically pushing for reassurance, over-explaining themselves, or demanding to know where things stand. They think they are showing care and enthusiasm. But to her nervous system, this frantic over-indexing communicates one clear, loud message. Your emotional stability depends entirely on her. You have just signaled that if she drops the ball for even a second, your internal world crumbles, and now it is her job to keep you feeling secure. The second a woman realizes she is being forced to manage your fragile ego or stabilize your underlying anxiety, her emotional openness snaps shut. Nothing kills a woman's ability to attach faster than feeling like she has suddenly inherited an adult dependent she has to emotionally caretake. She doesn't want to hold power over you, and she certainly doesn't want to feel like she is walking on eggshells around your insecurity. She wants a partner who can stand on his own 2 feet. Someone whose presence offers a calm, unshakable sanctuary where she doesn't have to carry the emotional weight of 2 people. When you show her that you can handle space without panicking, spiraling, or demanding a fix, you prove that you are actually a safe, solid place to land. Real attachment almost never looks like the over-the-top Hollywood version of romance that most people expect. It isn't built on dramatic declarations, nonstop texting marathons, or chaotic, intense bursts of passion. In fact, true emotional bonding looks like the exact opposite. As a woman begins to attach to you on a deep, fundamental level, her energy actually settles and becomes profoundly calm. The high-string nervous excitement fades away, making room for a quiet, effortless comfort. You will notice that her tone softens when she talks to you. Her reactions stop feeling calculated or rehearsed because she no longer feels the need to measure her words before speaking. Even the silence between you changes. Those once awkward pauses in conversation completely transform into natural, peaceful moments where neither of you feels rushed to fill the air. This deep sense of safety triggers a massive shift in how she shows up in your life. Up until this point, she may have been presenting her best, most polished self to keep your attention. But as genuine attachment sets in, she drops the curated persona and allows you to see her completely unedited version. She stops trying to project a perfect image and starts letting you into her real messy world. You'll begin seeing her genuine stress, her hidden fears, her raw vulnerabilities, and her unglamorous bad days. This isn't a sign that the spark is dying out. It is the ultimate compliment to your character. It means her nervous system views you as a secure sanctuary rather than a judge, jury, or audience member she has to continuously entertain. At its core, human behavior is simple. People perform when they are terrified of being rejected. When someone feels like acceptance is conditional, they put on a mask, stay on guard, and put in maximum effort to keep you hooked. But the second a woman feels complete, unshakable safety in your presence, the need to perform completely evaporates and genuine transparency takes its place. She relaxes because she trusts that you accept who she actually is beneath the surface. This is where so many men make a critical mistake that ruins everything. If you misinterpret this calm, comfortable shift as a loss of interest simply because the high-energy thrill has settled down, you will panic. You'll react with needy pressure, demand more attention, or try to force back the chaotic early-stage drama. And the moment you do that, you instantly rebuild the exact same defensive wall she just worked so hard to tear down. Recognizing that calm, equal connection allows you to embrace the stillness, giving her the emotional freedom to fall even deeper. So many men fall into the trap of confusing sheer intensity with true emotional depth. They get hooked on the wild roller coaster dynamics, the ones fueled by sudden sparks, explosive chemistry, dramatic fallouts, and passionate makeups. And while those chaotic highs and unpredictable lows can feel fiercely addictive in the short term, they are ultimately an absolute drain on a person's spirit. A relationship built on constant emotional tension isn't deep, it's just stressful. Over time, that endless friction wears a woman down, and the relentless exhaustion eventually erases any genuine desire she had for you. Intensity creates a temporary rush, but it completely destroys the long-term emotional foundation needed to keep a real connection alive. True unbreakable bonding doesn't happen in the explosive high drama moments. It quietly takes root in the simple grounded spaces where her body learns it can relax around you. It happens when she voices a disagreement, and instead of taking it personally or getting defensive, you stay totally steady and hear her out without flinching. It builds when her life gets busy and she takes longer to text back. Yet, you don't play petty mind games or punish her with cold passive-aggressive distance when she returns. It deepens when she comes to you overwhelmed by stress, and instead of rushing in with unwanted advice to fix her problems like a math equation, you simply sit beside her, hold space, and let her feel heard without judgment. When you consistently demonstrate that you can remain unshakable under tension, her nervous system receives the ultimate green light. You are showing her not through empty words but through repeatable steady action that your emotional environment is safe. The moment she realizes your composure doesn't shatter when things get uncomfortable, her body registers a massive wave of relief. I don't need to keep my guard up here. By choosing calm over chaos, you become the one thing every woman craves in a chaotic world, a solid, peaceful sanctuary she never wants to leave. Women rarely bond through manipulative control tactics, calculated emotional mind games, or forced inorganic vulnerability. You cannot trick, guilt, or maneuver a woman into feeling a deep, lasting connection with you. The truth is much simpler than that. Women bond when they realize beyond a shadow of a doubt that being close to you will never cost them their internal peace. When entering your world feels like stepping into a shelter rather than stepping onto a battleground, her guard naturally dissolves. She doesn't have to constantly calculate her words, walk on eggshells, or worry about managing your unpredictable reactions. Knowing that intimacy with you brings tranquility instead of hidden emotional costs is what allows her to drop her defenses completely and invest her heart for the long haul. If you genuinely want a woman to attach deeply to you, you need to step away from the outdated advice that tells you to manufacture artificial chemistry or play hard to get. Shift your focus entirely toward mastering emotional self-possession. Start by refusing to view temporary distance or a brief period of quiet as a threat to your worth. When she takes space to breathe or handle her own life, remain steady instead of spiraling into panic or pulling back out of spite. Stop using acts of kindness or affection as a transactional currency meant to buy immediate reassurance, approval, or validation from her. Genuine connection isn't a business trade where every nice gesture demands a quick return on investment. Above all, offer her your calm, unshakable presence instead of piling on subtle, demanding pressure. When your presence consistently lowers her stress instead of compounding it, a profound psychological shift takes place within her. Emotional attachment stops being a calculated, conscious decision. She sits down to think through it, transforms into a raw, unstoppable instinct. You slowly become the single place in her chaotic world where she no longer feels the exhausting need to protect herself, defend her boundaries, or put up a mask. By embodying that rare, peaceful harbor, you cease to be just another option in her life, becoming the one person her mind and body naturally turn to for real, lasting safety.